welcome, guys. This is a post-trailer release interview with the team from No Ordinary Man. We've got Rahib, the director and one of the writers. We've got Lucas as well, who's the co-writer as well, and we've got Peter Ashen, who's producing the music and the audio side of the production. If I'm not wrong, did I get all of that right?
Yeah,
Awesome.
right.
That's a good start. Excellent. Guys, do you mind just telling us a little bit about yourselves? I mean, we've spoken to Rahib before, so unfortunately, gonna have to skip you out this time, man. So, Lucas, do you mind just telling us about yourself and who you are and what you've done?
Cool. Yeah, as I said, I'm the one of the co-writers on this project. I started speaking to Rahib back in 2012, so a very long time ago, when I sort of wrote this short, which gave to Rahib, and he turned it into something much, much better. Because we were chatting earlier, went down a little trip down memory lane, and the original draft from 2012 is it leaves something to be desired. So for me, I've been working freelance as a writer and actor for the past 8 years or so now.
Awesome.
Um, so yeah, it's been my life. I live in Cardiff, and just most of my work is there.
Awesome. Peter?
Hello, my name's Pete. I did the music and some of the. Well, I wrote a song for it, but I'll explain that in a bit. But I actually wrote a song for the film, and then I did the audio effects and sounds, some of the sounds over the top of it. And I went to school with Rahib a very very long time ago.
Oh, awesome.
So, Rahib, I'm a musician, um, and he reached out to start music, so it was good. I enjoyed it.
Awesome. Awesome. So, do you guys just more just kind of mind talking through the timeline of from the inception or the creation of the script and how how you guys started getting involved with the production of the film?
Well, we wanted to do something. I think it was after Easy Money, if I'm not wrong, Lucas. We were trying to
Yeah.
make easy money, and it while that was happening, or we were trying, uh, I asked Lucas, give me something else, and he gave me a very basic version of No Ordinary Man,
Cool.
which, as he said, we had a look at earlier, and it was bad. It was really bad.
Thanks. Thanks. Appreciate you.
Well, for today's times, at that time we thought it was something genius,
Yeah.
and yeah, and Lucas worked on it, I think, for a few drafts, and after that, he was kind enough to let me kind of take over and kind of do my own thing with it, and that's how the script and the idea kind of came about, with just us collaborating and going back and forth with it.
Awesome. So, when you say so, it originally came from it's something that you come up with, Lucas. Is that right?
Yeah, so again, back in good old 2012, when 22-year-old me wrote it and thought it was just so great, and now 31-year-old me is kind of like, Jesus, what was I on? But yeah, so it was something I wrote whilst I was working for this like small company down in Manchester, and they just like kept asking me for like short scripts, and I was firing out a bunch. One of the ones that they rejected, quite rightly so, was No Ordinary Man. So I kind of just kept that handy, and then see once me and Hugh started talking, and he had kind of an interest in that sort of thing, like kind of crime thrillers and things like that. So I thought you might be interested in. Yeah, we just kind of took it from there, really, and it's between what it was then and what it is now. It's definitely changed like a lot for the better.
Awesome. I mean, so one interesting thing that you mentioned, Peter, is that you wrote a song for the film. What inspired you writing a song for the film? And was that before the film was fully done, or did you have an idea what the film was and you wrote it, or was it the themes of it? What inspired the song?
So about years ago, Rahib came to me and asked me to write music for a film, a completely
Okay.
different film he was working on, and it didn't really ever come to anything for whatever reason. And then recently, he was on about this. So all he did was send me the script. There was no
Okay.
film or anything. I just got sent a script, and I'm quite ignorant to what you guys do. I don't read scripts. I don't write. I don't understand stuff. But I did. I took the time. I read it, and I got sucked into it. And anyway, the No Ordinary Man was just like screaming at me from the paper, like No Ordinary Man. And I think we all feel like no ordinary man in a kind of way. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Okay.
So I just wrote this little, a couple of lines off it, and then within about, I had that song for it, the outro song, written within about half an hour, and it just stuck, and I really liked it. I think it kind of worked.
Awesome.
And then I sort of worked around everything with that.
Wicked. So, guys, can you answer this question? What makes Hamza no ordinary man? Can you divulge a little bit into that? It was without obviously telling us the whole concept of the film.
I would say because he has to make a choice that not many of us hopefully would ever have to make. That's as vague and as good an answer I'll give.
I mean, he kills people for a living, which is not super ordinary. I mean, it happens, but
Yeah.
But yeah, apart from that, I guess it's sort of this dilemma he's facing. Because obviously it wasn't there at the beginning, but obviously he's a man torn between I guess his morality. If I've got that right, really, you can correct me anytime. It's sort of because he's quite a religious person, and obviously this thing that he does for a job is it kind of weighs on him, obviously. So it's kind of this very weird internal dilemma.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think it is that fight with his conscience that, at one point, this is what I do for a living, and in a way, I'm in too deep here, and there's no way out. And but at the same time, he's a God-fearing man, and that's something that kind of plays on his mind all the time. I wish this was a bigger film, which would give us, uh, an opportunity to dive deep into this character and what he goes through psychologically, which hopefully we'll get to do that. But in these 15 minutes, we've just kind of shown, just that little fight with, in a way, like good versus bad here, and it's all in his mind.
So, if there's any films you could compare to this film, or what maybe influence, or that kind of influence this film, is there any films that you could mention that you could kind of maybe relate to in any tone, maybe the dialogue? Is there anything that you could kind of?
It's a unique film.
Yeah, no ordinary film.
I mean, when I back when I sort of came up with the kind of first version of it, I think Dead Man's Shoes was kind of like a big,
awesome,
very sort of grim and horrible and quite bleak. So that was kind of the tone I was going for.
Sure.
At the time.
I think for me was sorry, go on.
No, please, after you.
No, I think for me was the film. The influence came from the filmmaking point of view. How I was going to tell that story, how I'm going to use my influences of my favorite filmmakers.
Sure.
To tell this story and maybe try and do it a little bit differently, which is a bit fresh.
Sure.
But then keep that essence of whoever watches the film and whoever sees the style of filmmaking and even the style of writing can say that, oh, you're a fan of this and you're a fan of that, which I wanted to kind of show that this is almost like my schooling this is what from where I've learned kind of how to make or how to write these movies.
Sure, awesome. Um, Peter, let's go into a little bit more of your kind of contributions to the film. I mean, for someone that's a little bit unversed in the world of film and music, um, I mean, some people might just think that your job is just putting a random song of Spotify over the film. I mean, like, not a lot of people understand. There's certain sounds create a dynamic or a certain soundtrack or a certain build up that kind of build up the scene. I mean, do you mind just kind of delving your approach to the film and your style in general? I mean, what intrigues you about the art?
Well, it's not like so. Instead of me just choosing songs to go over it, like that would be that would have been different. Yeah, well, so I got to write in a compliment to it. So like I say, at first I had the main song,
Sure.
and then I didn't realize that obviously there was more than what they wanted, more soundtrack to go over it. For instance, the scene in the beginning where he's praying, and the other scenes where there's got the music too. So I had to kind of get creative then, because
Right.
I sort of was quite narrow-minded in, I'm just writing that one song, that's done. The boys will have that, and I didn't think too much of it. And then I then had to kind of get on the ball then. So I was going off the basis of being quite minimal, because the film is quite minimal.
Sure.
In the respect it doesn't. You're focused mainly on one character. Do you know what I mean? And
Sure.
there's a lot of depth to that character, but it's not overdone. I quite like that, so I tried to play the music, so the music doesn't have, it doesn't have loads of drums in it. I don't think I have percussion in the one. So I try and strip everything back. Some of it, there's no singing; it's just me just making oohs and ah noises. Yeah, mainly, yeah, just keeping it quite simple and stuff like that. And I was kind of trying to use simple. Less is more. That's what I was going by.
Sure. So the music that was used in the trailer, did you create that piece as well? The music piece in the yeah, I think it was, yeah.
Yeah, that's me.
Yeah, that was one thing that did stand out from the trailer as well to me, was the kind of audio production. It kind of just catches you almost straight away. It creates that tone. Obviously, as Rahib and Lucas mentioned, it's about a guy kind of struggling with his culture and identity, and that music kind of hits that tone for me. You kind of see it, and obviously the visuals kind of give way to it as well.
Yeah, well, there's like a Moroccan band I like called Tinari Wen.
Sure.
They're like an Eastern band. So like there was this guitar riff I was going to cut out, and Rahib was like, "Got to keep the guitar riff," which you'll hear near the end of the film.
Awesome.
And I was quite like, "Oh, that's quite funny," because it's basically it's not a rip off, but it's very inspired by Tinari Wen. Awesome. And then yeah, like you say in the beginning with the trailer clip, with that vocal bit, that was meant to be quite well. It does reflect that scene quite well, I think. The noises and everything.
Do you like the actual audio production side of it, like the kind of sounds and the kind of ambient sounds, or do you like actually making the music pieces yourself?
This time round, I got quite into adding, like, that needs more reverb, or that needs clearing up, or that needs tweaking a bit more. If anything, I'd love to tweak it even more. Do you know what I mean? But I got quite into that. I love writing though, of course, but I've spent years writing, and at uni I was writing a lot, and I never really had much of a chance to edit and play around with it on my own. So this time I did, so it was good.
Awesome. So like, obviously Hamza's a hitman. You've got this soundtrack. Are we going to see like a James Bond-esque style song for Hamza for No Ordinary Man? You get a single come out.
Yeah, it was tempting to. There was so many different ways you could have done it.
Sure.
Do you know what I mean? There really were, and I think. But this one just came most naturally. Like the song, wrote it. The moment I read the script, I wrote the song, and
awesome.
That kind of speaks. That makes me smile even now. Like, I love it. It's cool.
Awesome. So, Rahib, Lucas, now that the film is essentially finished now, nearly, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, almost done. Almost. We're coming to an end very soon.
Awesome. So, from the initial concept of you guys are there from the beginning, from the writing of the script. What are the biggest things that you've learned from the creation of this film, from the start to finish? Is there something that you're taking away from this? Is there something new that you learned? or is it something that you've learnt not to do?
I mean, I think it's just, like when we talk about the first draft and when we look at that first draft today,
Hmm.
and I feel like you gotta keep on, when you're writing something, go back to it after some time because in that time you've done a bit of growing up, you've
Sure.
seen a lot of new stuff, and when you come back to it, you can actually uh, look at it from fresh eyes and see what will fit and what will not fit. And I think that was the biggest thing, which kind of, because this, like I said, we started in 2012,
Hmm.
we made it in 2020. So in that time, there were many times I went back to the script after 6 months, 8 months, look at it from fresh eyes, and change things that did not fit at that time until
Hmm.
it came to a point where I could not change anything, or I did not want to change anything. I was very happy with the material that was on the paper, before kind of going to shoot. So I think patience. I've learned to be patient with the script and take my time with the script. That's one big thing I've learned.
Awesome. Lucas?
Um, I think it's sort of more of like a general thing that I've learned like over the years that I've been doing this is simply to not be so precious and I guess married to your own vision
Sure.
of what you want the story to be because it is just about everyone's vision of what it needs to be. And if you, I think with writers that this is just my opinion, by the way. Many can shoot it down, but I think they're usually the victims of their own bias, especially with their work. And it always, I think it always takes like a fresh pair of eyes. I think that's what I've learned. Because when I first kind of gave it to me, but back in 2012, I was like, no, it's perfect. You don't need to change anything. Now seeing what's it into, yeah, I think it's taught me not to be suppressed and kind of see things from the other side.
Awesome.
But then on the flip side of it, like I think creative people are very um, would protective of their work,
Oh
and
yeah,
it's
absolutely, yeah.
like
Yeah.
you know and like even this, I'm pretty sure 5 years down the line when we look at this film that we've done, I'm pretty sure we can sit around and we can literally nitpick 100 different things and say, well, you know what, that doesn't work, and I think that's the beauty of cinema. It with time, um, it kind of makes you feel in a different way every time. Every viewing is a different experience. Um, Not with every film, I think with certain films.
Awesome. Um, I had a question. It's flicked from my head. I was just looking at the timing when the Zoom thing runs out. It's fine. We've got about 6 minutes, so don't worry. I'll cut this bit out. All right, guys. So now that the trailer is out, what your what the reactions been like? Have you had like great feedback? Is there anything unique that you've heard in regards to like the trailer? What's it been like since it's come out?
I think God's grace, it's been positive. Um, I've been kind of checking myself, how many views or the comments, and just trying to see what people are saying, and the personal feedback I've got from people kind of directly approaching me.
Hmm.
It's been positive. It's been positive, and just seeing that is just like a weight lifted off my shoulders
Awesome.
because it was stressful. It was like because I had seen it so many times.
Hmm.
I was like, this is really shit. Like because for me it just got so repetitive.
Sure.
So just seeing that positive feedback from people, that was a big relief.
Awesome. Um, so one thing I wanted to ask is I'll take it in turns for each of you. So, Rahib, if you had to work with Lucas and Peter on a different production, just say a production that's a film that's already been made, what would you love to have worked on with these two on? for example? Where are the talent do you reckon you could have really kind of seen them shining?
I mean, I know that Lucas acts as well. And I've kind of collaborated with him on two short scripts. This one and Easy Money, which is still yet to be made. Um, so I think next time I would maybe kind of work with him in that actor director capacity,
Awesome.
as well as him being a writer on the project. And with Pete, I think this is just like a short film and we kind of got everything done quickly. But on the next project, I would like to have more time and where I can kind of work with him more closely on the music of whatever we do next. But definitely looking forward to working with both of them again.
Awesome. Lucas, is there anything that you would have loved to have worked with Rahib on? Love to have worked with Rahib on any specific projects that you think would have been cool project to work on together?
As in something I've already done, or something.
Just and anything. It could be popular media. If there's a TV show or a movie that you think Rahib would have been an awesome director on, or even your that you could have worked, that you'd been great working on together.
Stuff from the past, I can't really think of. I think in general, like, with Rahib, I'd sort of this type of thing. I would always kind of go for with him because it's definitely great, like collaborating with him on these sort of thrillers or like crime films. I think
Sure.
he's it's a great mind to work with on this. Peter, unfortunately, I've not had the pleasure of meeting him for tonight, but I'd happily work with him on anything. Sure.
We're building up networks, and it's fine. It's fine. Peter, is there anything that obviously you've known Rahib for a while? Is there anything that you would have think that he'd be a great to work with or on, or is there a certain style of film that you think you two would be great on?
I'd love it if there was if the opportunity arises for a long film then, which would be great. Only because I could write a score with it then, a full musical score.
Yeah, of course.
And I think I could geek out then, and I could really sit down with those two and play around. And
Sure.
This was great though. This was like just a nice insight into the work and everything, But I'd love the opportunity to write a full piece. That'd be
Awesome. Well, guys, thank you very much for that. That's been really insightful. Rahib, Lucas, Peter, thank you for taking your time. Really like the look of the trailer. Can't wait for it. When are we gonna? Have you got a timeline when we're gonna see the release of the film, or what are you thinking of showing it to the public? Have you got a kind of plan for that?
We want to do a festival circuit first, and before we kind of take it, show it to everybody.
Awesome.
So we're gonna do that and kind of show it to a few people and see if we can kind of get that backing that we need to kind of make it into a bigger film.
Awesome.
So once we've gone through that process of it, then we'll kind of release it for everybody else to see it.
Excellent. Well, guys, thank you very much again, and hopefully we'll speak to you again after the film's been released. Thank you, guys.
Cheers, man.
Thank you.
Bye.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.